Welcome back to the MinMax challenge. In this episode I experience power creep, Seo rolls double digits, and Philip enters. This and more, now on Bottom Deal. What a ripoff, we don't even fight the Gyeong office in this episode because they're not going to be relevant until like 3 chapters later. So anyway, Urban Plague. Listen, this is a challenge where stacking power is incredibly important. If you are a library veteran, you already know what's going to happen, so you might as well just skip this episode right now. But stick around anyways, because I'm funny and original. Anyway, I tried to brainstorm ideas to make Urban Plague remotely interesting, and I did come up with some cute ideas, and then realized that nothing that I added to the challenge really changed any way I play. So I ended up deciding that redoing Plague with some other nonsense thrown on top of it is not worth my time. Especially when there's much more interesting fights to cover. But I digress. So the first thing I do once entering Urban Plague is throw myself at an old man. Not necessarily because his key page is pretty good, but because he has a really good combat page that I want. However, that plan is quickly foiled after realizing that burn really hurts and Sunset Plate is a menace to society, and so I choose to fight the full stop goobers instead. The first turn is pretty scary, but thankfully Olga is pierce resistant, which is the main threat in this fight. And also these guys are pretty squishy, so they fall pretty quickly. And so we engage in our default strategy of maximum Ungich and see where it leads us. YouTube comments jump scare. That's the neat part. I don't handle mass attacks, they handle me. I have no idea. Yes, I am German, and I'm afraid it's terminal. Look at this fucking guy. Look at I hate demonic so much. You guys do not even believe me how much I hate this guy. Like that one time, right? I noticed that the lore invitation editor actually said like something like in Boy Taishon or something like that. And then I was like, oh, did you notice? And it's like, please tell me I'm not the one that like realized it so late. And he's like, yeah, you are. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then he hits me with the double fucking ligma, and then he just tells me, no, actually, you are that dumb. I hate this guy so much. Yes, agreed. Absolutely. The amount of attempts I'm gonna need for fights is probably not gonna increase that much, but just the time in general that these fights take will extend. Especially like the amount of fights I'm gonna have to do in the start of the city, because that's like half the game pretty much. I wouldn't say I'm gonna put them in layers, but I certainly am just gonna have to put like a time limit on these videos and find a satisfying point to end an episode on, which may vary in difficulty depending on how things are going in the run. I can't see in the future, I'm afraid. And that's all I can stomach of YouTube comments for the day. Oh yeah, update on that YouTube monetization thing. I just got like the 3rd notification about it, and they really want me to get it, don't they? But I'm not, and let's see how much longer they're gonna spam my inbox. I'll keep you updated on that. Stacking all the full stop passives, I managed to clobber the old man to death, but still end up losing the fight because of severe skill issue. But that is completely fine by me, because we obtain Crack of Dawn and, finally, a page draw page. This means I can finally apply proper deck building theory to my decks. Hallelujah! I attempt to do the same approach on the Musicians of Bremen, because they have also some incredibly powerful pages that I want, and I managed to successfully snuff out Meow and Mumu, but get bonked by Oink. From this I obtain one of the key combat pages? Yeah, something like that. Unforgettable Melody. For 2 cost, it gives 1 strength to 2 random allies. Not really random right now, considering I only have 3 nuggets available and will only have 3 nuggets available for most of these fights. The part where it gets broken is because it stacks. If I get to use 3 unforgettable melodies a turn, let's say 1 for each nugget, that means everybody gets 2 strength. Stack this with pulsation, and now my offensive dice will roll about average. Though rolling average means I don't roll nothing anymore, so yay. So this is kind of what the deck looks like for everybody here. Do not criticize my decks, they are 100% optimal. Definitely not thrown together on a whim. And if you have any problem with them anyways, I shall put you into a room with silent orchestra for the next eternity or so. Have fun. Let's test this deck out by getting our revenge on the Bremen. Bremen. It's pronounced Bremen. Wait, does this mean Germany is like canon in the PM verse? Or is it just Bremen? I don't know. I mean, White Knight's Bible verses casually drop Israel. Whatever. Wedge Office was so exciting that I forgot to record it, so I had to do it again. Okay, this time we're going to take on Dawn's office for real for real. Remember in the beginning when I killed Salvador for Crack of Dawn? So before I got full stop, I put way more attempts into that than I really wanted to. So I'm kind of sick and tired of this boss, so I'm gonna let somebody else handle this. Goodbye.
Holy shit, is that Philip? From the hit game Library of Ruina? Oh my god. I love this character. Anyways, this fight gives you some pretty good pages. It gives you Crack of Dawn, which was a 7. That's kinda good. And we finally get page draw. That's kinda useful too. Also, Tai sucks at this game, so he had to do the fight again, which is why he already has Salvador and Flash of Sun up. And the worst part about this fight isn't even Crack of Dawn. It's Sunset Blade. It rolls way too high. Help.
Who even was that guy? Anyway, in addendum to what all that French nonsense was about, Philip really does roll pretty high in this. Mainly because of his first passive, which has one of the weirdest wordings I've ever seen in this game. Just right, gets 2 strength at emotion level 1. It's not that complicated. Oh yeah, by the way, did you know that Yuna, as well as the generic book, can also just drop Crack of Dawn? Wish I knew that beforehand. Anyway, Philip is dead and we will surely see him never again. So the Carnival. If I weren't running a full stop team, this would be like my alternative power gain mechanism. In terms of like die power stacking, I also have combat preparation, which might actually be more effective in terms of like winning clashes, but I'd rather end the fight in like 7 turns than like 20. Also, once again, pierce resistance really shines in Urban Plague. There's just a lot of piercery going on in Urban Plague for some reason. Okay, the ball sack. There isn't really much of a difference here from vanilla Spider-Bud. The minions are a bit stronger, but nothing that I can manage. I mean, Crack of Dawn can handle it easily. And once all the minions are gone, I just apply cognitive behavioral therapy. So Spider-Bud's Abno pages are a bit iffy, because they're all green pages, we're rarely ever gonna see them. Cocoon will basically never activate. I would need Oliver if I wanted to proc it, and that's not gonna happen anytime soon. There's nothing intrinsically bad about Meal. The problem is it has to compete with some power gain cards and Obsession. We'll see if the sustain is worth it at some point. Alertness out of the bunch is probably the most useful. Anything that helps me clashing is good in my book. The additional Bind and Fragile are just a neat bonus on top, because one helps with control of the battle and the other one helps me elevate my minuscule damage. So this badge isn't really great, but it means we get another librarian and emotion level cap up, so I'll take it. Why am I fighting Jikan? Genuinely. Why am I doing this? Oh, surely I was like, I'm gonna use his only usable page and be like, surely this will come in handy when I need, like, even more power for some reason and pretend that it's not gonna get me killed. Don't kid yourself, we all know he's ass. Except for the part where he completely breaks the game and helps Purple Tier achieve immortality. Yeah, we're not gonna see him anytime soon. But it shall make for a decent display of how good Heart's Floor is. In my usual playthrough, I'd like to go for the Kurokumo Clan first, because they just happen to have really good pages and key pages. But feeling like that I'll get jobbed if I attempt it this early, I just held off until I got some actual good power gain going. And yeah, honestly, good choice. I highly doubt I would have been able to survive all the bleed stacks back then. Look at this Seo deck I made. Isn't it awesome? Feel free to steal.
Wait, is that Philip? Wait, I have that Philip guy. This is awesome. Anyways, this fight is not that bad because we're starting to stack strength a bit too much. I guess Transpierce is kinda scary and high speed stabbing rolls kinda high, but otherwise it's really not that bad. Philip dies very fast because he's weak to slash, so he doesn't do anything. And then we just kill the other guys too. Nothing really happens in there. Oh my god, he has a second phase. This is awesome. He starts with the defense stance. Doesn't really do anything. Doesn't roll high. You just wait 2 turns for him to do his stuff. And then he hits you with a 4 and a 5. Yeah. Then we enter the phase where he actually hits you with not very scary pages. so we just kill him. Yeah. Woohoo. I guess Blazing Strike would be kinda scary if he could actually hit it. But we stagger him. GG's, I guess.
In case you are once again puzzled of why Ego Philip is so confusingly easy, I will gladly offer you directions to the Library of Ruina Isn't a Finished Video Game exhibition. Now here's a fight that's actually more difficult than Philip for some reason. This is due to the fact that Yesod's floor currently doesn't really have the power gain that I want. As for Abno pages, we get our first tier 3 Abno page with music being way too risky to be useful in this challenge, so I'll just not. Rhythm, however, is a lot less risky and helps me kick off the early game on this floor. And musical addiction is the big one. If we combine musical addiction with pages like Daring Decision, we can potentially roll sky high. Anyway, enjoy this shit show of fight where I should have probably just brought more Seos, honestly. Look at this Oscar deck I made. Isn't it awesome? Feel free to steal. Yes, I've been so afraid. Lovetown is easy. At this point I have a PhD in Lovetown, so I'll just give you the cliff notes. I've beat this fight with a Reddit deck, no deck, and effectively blindfolded. To deal with the gimmicky cards of the first couple of Lovetown members, we use low-rolling defensive die to just not. Also in this fight it's good to have a pretty colorful ensemble of different offensive die, so I brought Oscar along to fill the role of our piercer. And then the rest of the fight is pretty self-explanatory. Enjoy the show. Oh yeah, one last thing. I was in a voice chat while doing this. And you know Demonic? You know the guy who makes hit pieces like this? Listen to his really cute reaction. I did it, first try.
Nice. Which way was it?
Odd.
Oh, Tomari. Damn, first try.
Isn't it kinda insanely messed up that you unlock Porccubus with the ranged guys, and then Porccubus is just immune to ranged attacks? And wouldn't it be even funnier if he bloated your deck with a 1 to 10 rolling page in a min roll challenge? Thankfully, this is one of those fights where his gimmick is just completely optional due to poor health care. As far as I'm concerned, Porccubus only has one Abno page, and that's Laughing Powder. Thorns is bad, and, well, Elation is Elation. To be fair, Elation at least makes a case with Survivor, and in the case of, oh Jesus Christ, he's talking about Spring's Genesis again, die power really doesn't matter. But Stealth is in a timeout zone, so Elation might have actually a appearance in like 3 chapters. Oh yeah, this bug that I have to stomp out really quick. I'll take most forgettable fight for 10 please. So Fairy Festival's pages are mostly ass. The Fairy Scare isn't really good, especially because it has to compete with literally every other tier 1 page. Gluttony is just good because you get actual sustain and some damage. And Predation is pretty bad, because if it's one thing you're usually not going to go for, Malkuth's for its quick kills. However, Predation is actually pretty good for us right now, because it means we don't have to pick footfalls. Hooray! I think you're supposed to fight this fight at the beginning of Plague, which I am not. So I conscribed the wrath of a furry, an old man, and a weeb upon this bug. At last, we have reached greener grass. Or not, because Urban Nightmare is still in that not really finished game ballpark. But that's for another episode. 2 things. No longer, like, 50-minute long videos. No way. Nuh-uh. And the other thing, next video might not be related to this challenge, and in fact, just some more Library of Ruina trivialities. I like Ruina, and I do like yapping about Ruina, and I kinda wanna do it some more. Just more in a condensed vacuum, if you would. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!